All right, everybody, welcome back here. We're just about to get into this match here soon. We're bringing you guys the UGC Platinum Highlander Season 14 lower bracket finals here between Ginyu Force and Evil Society of Evil. I'm Gecks, and alongside me, I have Frank West this evening doing the analytical work for me. How's it going, man?
It's going good. I'm excited we finally got to reveal that video.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. I wasn't really aware of the history behind all that and everything, and I mean, just watching that gave me the chills, so it was pretty cool to watch. Made me excited for Highlander, and I'm not even a big follower of it. I'm sure you guys are pretty pumped for it too, though.
Really excited, and I know Dashner has a bunch of stills up as well of each of the players. I don't know where he's got them, but those should be up somewhere too.
Definitely something to look forward to for everybody here next season. But of course, as we were saying here, kind of give you guys a preview at least for the match this evening. Of course, as I said, we do have Ginyu Force facing off against Evil Society of Evil here. This is our lower bracket finals matchup here. Winner is going to go on and face off in the grand finals in that best of three that'll be happening next week. But tonight we're going to be playing on Badwater. So, you know, Frank, why don't you go ahead here, kind of give me a little bit of a rundown of these two teams, because when I was looking through the rosters, I saw some names that I really recognized. I'm mainly a Sixes guy. You know, I'm starting to get into this whole Highlander thing, but there's a lot of names on there that I recognize from Sixes. You know, why don't you give us a little bit of rundown here for these rosters, some key players.
They just changed, so let me make sure I even have it. Let's see. Who is on what? I just refreshed everything. My bad.
Oh, that's all right. Well, I mean, obviously the one guy who caught my eye right away, right off the start, was Banny.
Banny's definitely on demo.
Yeah, on demo, which, of course, you know, you're talking about one of the best players in the game here, so that's obviously probably the first thing to point out, which all you guys, I'm sure, are aware of, those that are following the Highlander scene and Ginyu Force in general, but that's definitely something to take note of. But if you have them up yet, I mean, who else? I know they've been kind of switching around here a lot. But
for Ginyu, I'll go through Ginyu first, which is running more or less their standard roster. We've got Ash on Scout, Patty on Soldier, Fathom on Pyro, Banny, as you said, on demo. Definitely a big thing there. Dill's on heavy, considered one of the better heavies, if not one. Certainly the most aggressive heavy, successful aggressive heavy. And Sigafu on NG, considered, I think, one of the most aggressive NGs, at least as far as I know. My good friend Overseer on Medic, good at dodging, certainly. Stones on Sniper, and the well-known Stabby Stabby on Spy. That's for Ginyu. For Evil, we've got a little bit of a change-up for the roster tonight. We've got Squid on Scout, Remedy Soldier, Huni Pyro, Harblu is demoing tonight. Sky's going to be the medic instead. I mean, sorry, Harblu usually Soldiers, I forgot, for this team. Skyrola is going to be the heavy, Skag is the NG, Sky is the medic, Moof on Sniper, and Feint on the Spy.
All right, well, there you have it. Those are our rosters for this evening. They've been kind of getting switched around here last second, all sorts of good stuff. A couple other things to kind of note here. Mela, who was playing for, I believe it was, I've actually lost it here. Yeah, Mela was playing for Ginyu Force, actually, earlier in the season here, but apparently he kind of mysteriously got unrostered and is now ineligible to play, so that's something to note. They normally do have Mela around over there on Ginyu, but he will not be around this evening. But, you know, as we were saying, both teams very impressive rosters, and actually the last time these two guys faced off against each other was during week 7, I believe it was, on Process, and Ginyu just, from looking at the score sheet there, it looked like an absolute roll, just a 5-0 on Process. Mode through him there for Ginyu. Of course, now we're in a different game mode this evening. We're going to be on a payload map here, of course, Badwater. So, you know, with that being said, Frank, what are you thinking for this evening? Who do you think is going to take the cake here?
Well, first I'll just say, we just got new information. Mustard Overlord is actually on Soldier for Ginyu, and Patty is on Scout. So, I don't know what that will... I mean, that's that's going to change a few things, but I don't think it'll make too much of a difference. As for otherwise, team matchups, Ginyu's definitely favored to win this, and I think I agree with that. But I will say that Evil has been, at the start of the season, they were kind of, I wouldn't say a mess, but they definitely weren't as good. And they got a late start to making their roster in preseason, so they've been gradually improving throughout the season a bit, I think. So they could put up a better show tonight than they did on Process. Especially with the current roster, I think that they could, some of the roster changes on Ginyu, I think that might help them out a bit. So we could see a closer game than we did on Process. But I still think Ginyu's probably, they're favored to take it, and I'd probably agree with that if someone asked me to bet money on it.
Now, of course in Highlander, and especially on a map like this as well, a lot of these pushes are going to be initiated by snipers, back and forth. Snipers, big part of the teams here. Now, as far as the snipers go on each of these teams, because since I'm slightly unfamiliar with it, is there a team that necessarily has an upper hand there as far as the snipers go? You know, who's going to be making the big plays? Or
I honestly am not that familiar with Stones. I think that they're pretty close. My personal impression is that Stones is a little more consistent, whereas Moof is more likely to run forward and get more of a clutch shot. But I think I've seen people say both of them are better than the other, and I would say they're relatively close.
All right, well, something to keep note of for all you guys there at home, but hopefully we should be getting into this one here shortly. Once again, this is our lower bracket final matchup here. The winner of this will go on to face off against Kids Next Door in the grand finals, I believe, which is taking place next week, if I'm not mistaken, and that'll be a best-of-3 matchup for that one. So, you know, while we have some time here, I mean, you know, is there anything else before we go on and just blabber about other things that you kind of have to note about these guys facing off here on Badwater?
One thing I will say, I did actually cast and watch Evil's game on Monday, and I saw them making a few mistakes. I think mostly the big problem was being aggressive on defense when they shouldn't have been. And just general team coordination, I'd like to see a bit more. But mostly, I would hope that they aren't going to be. They're not going to be pushing out of last on defense or trying to hold points that they can't when on defense. Basically, I think if they've improved their game from Monday, defense-wise, if they've just learned how to just do a few basic things, they could do a lot better.
And that was something that I had asked you about beforehand, since I'm not as, you know, familiar with the whole, you know, the meta of Highlander, I suppose. If the teams on defense generally will push, I asked if they would push if they had the Uber advantage. You said they will, but probably not supposed to necessarily. So, yes. You know, I guess we'll see if... I
don't actually know if Ginyu will. I haven't seen them play this map this season. But I know that I've seen a lot of teams pushing on defense with Uber advantage when really that's something you almost should never do, is pushing out on defense.
I guess we'll have to see if anybody makes the critical error this evening, but we have everybody at least on their respective sides now, so we're just going to be waiting for the ready up. But, you know, while we have some time to kill, I guess, you know, while we kind of mentioned it right at the beginning, you know, that epic video of Tangerine, which I'm still kind of, I hope that gets put out on like YouTube or something, because that was giving me the chills. But you guys were saying, you know, you're fun having kind of squatted dudes, you had success and things like that, you know. Did you have were a lot of your guys kind of just like out of commission for a little while, just kind of like, you know, not really in the game much anymore, and you're all just decided like, hey, let's all get back together and get the team going again? And
more or less, I mean, a lot of the sixes people, most of them kept playing sixes, although some of them didn't. But I think a lot of people just played a lot. I know for me, I played Spy, or I played Highlander from from the Comfort tournament, which was before UGC Season 3, I think, or Season 5. I literally don't even know. So I'd been playing for 3 or 4 years, and I was just like, I need to do something different. I found some friends in Silver. I played NG with them. They're great people. Shoutouts to Cardiac Arrest. Another team of friends, really. I think a lot of us had just played so much that we were just like, a few people stuck around, stayed, made Ginyu, and we're like, we're gonna do it, and we won. And then we were kind of like, that's enough for a bit. And I think it's just the revival just sort of happened. I'm not sure. Everyone just kind of decided. A few people, I think it was mostly Dashner and Sheep, who wanted. Oh, and it looks like we're starting, so I should probably stop blabbering.
No, that's all right. I think everybody kind of wanted a little bit of tidbit there. It looked like from the chat at the beginning there, everybody was going nuts about it, about you guys coming back. But as you said, we are live here. We're on PL Badwater this evening. Your lower bracket matchup here. Looks like we're gonna have Ginyu Force starting off over on defense, and we're going to have Evil starting over on offense here. So right off the bat here, what are you going to be expecting out of Evil? What are they going to really be trying to work here right off the start to kind of get at the defense of Ginyu?
Well, they're going to probably jump some people in because it's basically free. They're just going to try and get the sentry or the medic. It probably won't work, but you just buff up your demo or your soldier and they go. They really have two options. They can basically have two options for pushing the hill. They can go up the left on the cliff, which gets them closer to the hill, or they can go up on the right and sort of push up with their sniper, and that's a lot easier to get position there. And I think generally me and Huey have agreed that pushing up the hill is better. So I hope they do that. Pushing up the cliff is a very narrow path, and it's very easy to shut down, especially if the Pyro is still up on defense. So they're going to have those two choices, and I will probably see in about 30 seconds which one they'll actually choose, because first they're just going to push the cart.
As we take a look at where everybody's at right now, we have Stabby hanging out on top of the rocks here. The cart's already inside of the tunnel at the moment. They're pushing that right along. No,
it looks like they're pushing through the tunnel. They're going to try and spam up onto the gun from below. I like this push, but it's hard. But they did get the other med to drop down, and Ubers are popped roughly even. Sentry's getting spammed, but only by the demo. That's not going to do it. You need someone else in there from that angle with the rescue ranger and everything, but I think they're sort of committed to this push now from tunnels, and I think they're going to have to back out.
It looks like there was about 3 down there over on Ginyu for a little bit here. We have QQ working inside of, excuse me, a lot of guys on both teams here are aliasing tonight, so I'm probably not going to be calling them by their proper names. I'm going to give them whatever it is in game for the most part. So as we see Stabby getting some picks off there, but
they are pushing up cliff, which is smart because I believe Pyro was still down on defense, which is, I should probably know, Fathom was still down for defense, so that makes pushing that cliff a lot easier. So I wonder if they did cliff specifically because the Pyro was down, or if they just knew. They just would have done it anyway.
So they just picked up that first point there. They're starting to move through. Still have the sniper working the picks here. He was able to take down Huni, but it looks like we already have them getting up on roof control. Red not able. Ginyu was not able to get anything on it there.
Hard Blue almost just got taken down by a Sticky Trap on the wall, but he had enough heals to survive it. I thought it was going to kill him.
A close one for him there. Looks like, I mean, these guys are just pushing right through here. Still coming up. A lot of picks coming through. That's going to be 3 down right now. Make it 4 down, 5 down. Oh,
wow,
goodness, they are just mowing them down.
They're going to Uber them to save that cart. That's a late Uber. They need someone to stand on that cart, but that was actually pretty good collapse. The spy was a bit of a distraction. They got some damage, and I think Evil probably just kind of felt they had that point, because a lot of teams would have backed out, but they decided to Uber in. But they need someone standing on it, because pretty soon Spy's just going to cap that right away.
On Evil now, they do have a full Uber waiting for them, and they're going to have about a 50% advantage. They do just get that cap, and they're going to go ahead and pop the Uber off here. They're going to take the demo straight on through here, but there's not really going to be anybody to go ahead and kill with that. It looks like they do have a level 3. Sigafu's got one sitting up watching that second point, and something or the third point, you were saying that's something that is really, really hard to push through on this map as that sentry's sitting up there.
Setup. It's so... Oh my god. Well, Feint just took down the medic, so maybe it won't be as hard as I was saying. Overseer goes down. But even with Overseer down, they've got a full setup of other classes. It's hard to push that. They better make this next push count, because if they don't, they might have to push 3 or 4 more times if Ubers are even.
As we see, they are going to have that advantage on it right now. The med just spawning, Overseer just spawning in there for Ginyu, so Evil still pushing right along here. They're just kind of waiting to get this Uber up so they can go ahead and get rid of Sigafu's sentry. That's probably going to be the first plan of attack here, is to go ahead and get that, but in the meantime, it's just going to be kind of sitting around here waiting, and it looks like they actually are going to go ahead and pop that Uber off right away. The demo getting blasted into the sky. I'm not sure.
Flashed.
I don't know if he's... It looks like they were not able to get the gun with that Uber at all.
I don't think the Pyro blasts them around a bit. Coming around that corner is dangerous. They do have good position. I actually don't think spamming the gun right away... I mean, with the Wrangler and the Rescue Ranger, he can heal that gun so safely. If you can't get someone up there to threaten the gun, I think it's best to use your Uber to get position and then deal with the gun later, especially because if you're directly underneath the gun, it can't really shoot you very well. And it can't be wrangled at all to shoot you if you're beneath it. The NG just doesn't have a sight line without exposing himself to a sniper. So it did look like that Uber did get the cart halfway up there. If they had another Uber like that, they might be able to just get the cart up through that.
A lot of times when you're in this position and they have that sentry, it's just kind of more of inching it little by little with your Ubers. If you can't get the gun down, is it just going to be more of them trying to do that and then eventually just work their way up to the point? Or
yeah, I think that their plan might just be to ignore the gun. I mean, the ideal is you either snipe the NG in a moment of his inattention, and then you can spam the gun because he can't heal it, or you get a spy up there to sap at the right time. But both those are really hard, especially when you have a full... I mean, we have Dill up here on heavy, like, almost protecting the gun himself. That it's very hard for a spy to get up towards the gun and be there at the right time to sap it, too. So I think they're just going to as we're seeing, they're just going to push the cart. They're going to worry entirely about the cart, especially when it's this close. I would absolutely agree with that. Ginyu's only got a Pyro on it. That's not a bad class to have on it, but all you need to do at this point is just push up, kill that Pyro, and you should be able to push that cart in.
It looks like both Ubers are getting popped off here, but Fathom's just going to be completely denying them there on Pyro, not allowing them really to get in at all onto them, as we see both teams actually going to be down a couple.
Almost caps it by jumping in, but he... Okay, make it, but I think we're going to see the cap here. Yep, by deflux at the same time Soldier jumps. Soldier actually bombs the cart to cap it, which I like.
They still haven't gotten that gun down yet. Blue now, they lost a lot of people.
They lost a lot of people, but they now spawn very close. So they just moved up from first point to spawning right around the corner. Wow, Dill on a flank! Dill decided that since they've more or less don't have that point so solidly, he went up through the right area and just... Who did he get? He got heavy and demo, I believe. That's Dill's specialty, I think, is just... A few times around, he'll just sort of go for it and get a weird flank, and you're like, why is he even there?
Well, it seems to be working for him so far here. So, I mean, Evil's still, they're losing a lot of players. Sigafu still has that sentry sitting on top. I mean, they got the cap here, but it's just sitting, for the most part, I mean, it's just sitting back as far as it can now. They haven't really touched it in a while. They're still trying to push through here now, as Ginyu's kind of worked themselves back, and they have now popped off the Uber, and they're going to see if they can actually get the gun this time. Demo getting blasted in the air, but now he's going to be up top challenging the gun. Sigafu's trying to take him down, though, and he's going to get a lot of damage onto him. But finally, that gun is going to go down, so it looks like they finally started to push Ginyu back a bit here, as now they're going to have to start their setup onto the final point here.
They did get Overseer. I mean, the reason that gun was able to go down was because Ginyu was playing a little further back, because if they died all, at this point, if they had all died at third, then last point would have gone away for free, so they were playing very safe. The fact that they forced Evil to use the Uber is sort of a little bit of a win for them.
Now, here they come. They do pop the Uber out
here
from
goes
the
that
last point, though.
pop.
Oh, and they do get the medic, though. Sky is going to go down. That's going to be only 4 left up here for Evil. Very good pop from them, as they had actually used that Uber offensively as they are on defense, so they were able to get the med. That's going to delay the push all the more. before they can get in. They're going to have heavy advantage for them, so just delaying that push even more. So there's one of the times where that offensive Uber, I guess, on defense kind of paid off for them there.
If you're going to do it, you have to get the medic. I guess they decided they could get the medic, and they were right. That was a good call.
So we'll see. Sky is building up that Uber here as we see they're trying to kind of get some picks here. Demo working in. Feint's going to come down, though. Feint's trying to get the pick on the mid. I think he has been spotted, though. Yep, he's going to go ahead and fall there. Good idea. Came pretty close, but not going to happen. As we see now, Evil's actually working around all the way on this left side here. They're starting to push through. Glacion's going to go ahead and get some, get a lot of spam out. That's actually, I believe he said hard blue. It's going to be hard blue. They do pop the Uber off, and now the counter pop coming through as well. They're going to get the gun. That is definitely going to go down. Yeah. Finally now going down, so that's going to make it all the easier for them. Not a lot of frags coming through here. Actually, 3 down right now for Evil. None for Ginyu at this point, as
they've got pretty good spawns, but they lost a few too many players. Oh, Scout's going for the med? No, he doesn't get him. That's great. If Evil had lost their med there, would have undone getting the gun pretty much.
Oh no, Soldier getting through! Oh goodness, he takes down Sky. What a play to get through there onto the med. I'm not sure who the Soldier is there. Soldier for Ginyu, but it was Mustard Overlord. He was able to get through there. Great effort from him to get through. I didn't think he was going to get it at first. Guy kind of like surfed the first rocket to get out of the way, but he was able to eventually get through there. That's a big pick for them to get there to hold that up even more. Now
we're sort of at a stasis while we wait for offense. Well, the gun actually just did go down to sticky spam. I'm not. Guess it was from map room. I actually told him. I'm not sure. Must have been from map room. Defense wasn't watching, Ginyu wasn't watching, neither was I. And so they got it's only a level 1, and they've got pretty good presence up top, which Ginyu hasn't been contesting above the upper area at all, so they've lost too many players to push now, Evil has.
Yeah, they only have 3 guys up right now. They were getting mowed back. They still do have their Uber, luckily. Sky is still up with that, hanging out with Hard Blue right now. Both teams have the full Uber up, as they're just waiting. They need to get their spawns up, which are starting to work up now, so we'll see when we get the push going. Stabby, excuse me, I had the wrong teams there, but it looks like now the Uber is going to get popped off. Both teams going to go ahead and pop the Ubers there. Flashes galore on both sides. Is a couple players down right now for Evil.
Stabby's down the heavy immediately, so the balance of when you kill a heavy at the start of a push, that's really key, because it shifts the balance of health in your team hugely. Heavy at the end of a push, not so significant. Oh, Patty taunting it gets killed by bleed damage, I think. Although, actually, Ginyu is down a lot of players. I really feel like Evil needs to be trying to get position off this. Sniper went down lower. Evil is trying to get some position up top here. They've had position up top pretty solidly. Haven't been able to make anything come out of it, though. Although, here we go. Sniper's down, gun's down. Now we're seeing position upper and lower.
Stabby got in and took down Sky there with a backstab as he was trying to move forward. Gets absolutely denied by Stabby there, and that's going to be a lot down once again for Evil there. They're going to have to go ahead and reset on this push here. Evil's in as well. Feint was in there. He was trying to get something, but he's going to fall down. So that's leaving a little room here. Banny's getting a bit aggressive up top, getting the spam out, but now it's just going to have to reset. Overseer's got a huge advantage to work with here on the Uber. So it's just waiting it out once again, seeing what picks we can get here. I mean, they can't really do too much until that Uber gets up. Looks like they're all kind of working around on this left side again, though. Evil is. They're just continuing to kind of come on through on this side, and they're going to try and get a lot of spam out onto it. Oh no, Sky goes down once again, though. That's not going to be good for Evil there. They need to get that Uber. But once again, Overseer's going to have a full advantage, going to make the push very tough for them. Both teams actually going down a good bit of players there. The spawn's just coming in. Feint's in behind, but not going to be able to get anything.
He had to walk a long way for that one. He got a little lucky. He got as far as he did. I think Evil needs to... First, Stabby has stabbed Sky at pretty much the same time the last, I think, 3 pushes. during the last 3 they need to be. It happens once, good play. It happens 2 or 3 times one after another. You need to start expecting that a little more. But also, I think Evil needs to try a different push. What they've been doing is gathering all above the sentry, and then sort of all dropping down one at a time on it. And they sort of get the sentry, but they don't get good positioning down below. I think they need to pressure the medic a little more beforehand, or all drop at once if everybody's going to drop. Because right now they're getting the upper area control, but it's not getting much.
Yeah, and they actually, it seemed as though they had a little bit of window there. They had actually they had the heavy and Banny down as well over on Ginyu for a while, as well as a few other players. And I think they tried to get in there, but Hardlu ended up going down to some spam from some of the other players. So once again, kind of evening things out here. But both teams do have that Uber, and they're going to go ahead and pop it off on a Hardlu here. They're going to have to get the sentry, which they do. The counter pop did come in, as we're just going to see these guys kind of blasting off at each other here. And once again, kind of reset. There weren't all that many frags after the fight. Actually, the heavy going down.
The gun is down. I think that Evil's got a solid advantage. I could see this being their cap push. And they just need a few more people spamming down lower. Gun goes down again.
Yeah, Stabby was able to get in onto Hardblue there as well. A lot of players down for Evil at this point. They kind of ended up getting wiped off at the end of that push there. So they're gonna have to continue to come through here. Overseer once again is gonna have a pretty hefty advantage here on the Uber to hold with. So no worries on that front, but.
Sigafu just did something really cool. He knew Remedy was at their left spawn door. He went out. He switched to minis, went out the right spawn door, built the mini. Remedy bombed and gets killed by the mini pretty much for free. And then he goes back into spawn and switches to level 3s.
Oh, jeez. That's
next level.
Interesting tactics there.
High level play.
High level NG plays there. So. Let's see. Stabby's managed to make his way in behind. He's going to go ahead and sap off that teleporter. That's going to get repaired, though. So, once again, just kind of waiting things out. Both teams. Actually, Sky ended up... I must have missed it. Sky ended up going down again, I think, at some point here. I mean,
I think while Shoes are treating... They've only got 30 seconds to push. They don't have enough time to build a full Uber. Ginyu knows it, too. This is going to be a really hard push. I don't see it happening with the current. I mean, Ginyu has Uber and they can't wait for it.
Oh, I mean, it's gonna have to be a pretty gutsy play here. They only have 10 seconds. They're gonna have to try and get in to do something here. And Heavy's gonna go ahead and he's gonna take down the combo, most of the combo for Evil there. The Uber gets popped off, and that is going to be the hold there for Ginyu, not allowing them to get through onto the last point. I believe I missed the exact time. There was 3 points in 6 minutes, so that's going to be...
there wasn't. I mean, the way that payload works, since they didn't cap the last point, Ginyu only needs to... Ginyu can either cap point 3 within 6 minutes, or they can cap the final point in any time at all, other than the game time itself, counting down.
So
and both of those are winning conditions.
So I mean, from what we saw of them on the first half here, I don't know if that's, may not be all that difficult for them.
I've seen it happen. I've even seen it happen in Platinum matches. But if you don't cap last, it's a hard road to walk to defend third point.
Yeah, it's going to be looking, I would assume, somewhat bleak for them. I mean, as you said, definitely not impossible, but
it's going to be hard.
Yeah, they're going to have a heck of a round here. So let's see if they can do it. We've switched up the sides now. We have Ginyu over on the attacking side, and now, of course, Evil over on the defense. Let's see if the defense can hold up and kind of compensate for a not-so-good offensive round there on the last one. So waiting to see who's going to make this first play here. Soldier bombing in, immediately getting in. Able to get one frag.
He got the NG,
Yeah, nothing of importance there, really.
when I played NG and I was offense payload and someone would suicide for me, I considered it a win.
Yeah, at least distract them for long enough to, do something. So, here we go. They are getting that card. Just heavy on it right now for Ginyu. It's just he's just mowing that thing on through by himself. He doesn't care. He'll just take it on in. He's still moving it on through here. Actually, I must have missed it. They were able to get through.
Yeah, the Skag actually did a Wrangler jump out and grabbed his gun.
Oh, wow.
The old style, without using the Rescue Ranger. I have respect for that. And they just decided to leave, I think, because they just did not have the Uber advantage. And if attacking team is Uber advantage on first, then it's kind of like a given they'll get it. So Ginyu's just playing it. Evil's just playing it really safe.
We actually have them on the back side right now. They're completely behind them. They're not coming up through that main entrance to upper. I mean, they do have full roof control right now, but Banny's going to go ahead and start spamming the sticks all over the roof there, getting a lot of damage out onto them. As we see, it's going to be a couple down for them right now, one of which being the heavy, and the Uber's going to go ahead and get popped off as they start coming up onto roof here, though. Hardblue doing a good job of denying them with sticks. He was bouncing them all over the place on that push there, denying them entrance onto the roof, though. The defenses here on the roof are pretty weak, and they actually had to back off. Medic going down. It's only two up for them.
Patty and Fathom, I believe. The NG Wrangler jumped away again, and Patty just chased him down and took him down, took his gun down, I think killed the sniper, and then came back to kill the medic.
Well, things not looking too good right now for Evil. I mean, Ginyu is just mowing through them on offense right now.
And they literally cannot lose this point. Or if they lose third point in the next 3 minutes, then they lose. So, and they're not even able to build up top. They're building on the ground with their center, which is a much worse position. It's more workable than most people give it credit for, but it's not as good as up top.
So, we're going to see if they can hold it off. Not looking good for them as they're still coming on through here, and they have an Uber advantage. Overseer does have about a 50% advantage right now to work on through with, so we'll see what they can get. The heavy is down right now for them, but actually Sniper was able to go ahead and get a demo pick there, but that Uber is going to get popped off as they try to go ahead and solidify the round win here to get this cap on second as they're still coming through. They got the frags. It's only 3 up for them right now. It's looking pretty good for Ginyu right here.
Unless pull off a 9K,
yeah,
which would be amazing.
Not going to happen though. Not quite anyway, so that will be that'll be the first one going over there at Ginyu. Pretty seemed to be pretty easy for them. I mean, what do you do as Evil at this point? I mean, they got somewhat demolished on that first round. What do you do to change up your play style to try to combat Ginyu at this point, who just seems to be a bit too strong for them?
Well, I will say Evil did really well on the first 3 points. Like, that was when they were doing that, I was like, this is going to be a close game. And then they just didn't know how to push last against Ginyu. And I think I think they should have tried different things. I think if it had a good last push, that still could have worked all right. Their defense wouldn't have been terrible because they wouldn't have had to suicide all on second and third to try and buy extra time. The problem is they can try different pushes, but Ginyu just has a lot more teamwork. And this is what I was seeing on the match on Monday. Like, Evil's got good players on it. Ginyu has a few better players, certainly right now. Banny is doing tons of damage.
Sitting at 552 DPM right now.
That's a lot of damage. I think he was up at 600 at one point. But really, it's beyond that. They're also just working together better. Like, when Evil was pushing in and trying to hold an area, like, Ginyu was reacting intelligently, and the instant Evil was close enough that they could actually contest, they would all do it at once. Whereas when we saw Evil holding the second point on the roof, Ginyu came behind them and pushed up was already spamming the gun for several seconds before some people rotated over to shoot. And you got to react to the push from behind the roof pretty fast. And if you do, you can shut it down.
Yeah, they just kind of seem to be one step ahead, kind of on all cylinders there. Ginyu did. So, I mean, they're going to have another shot at it here, of course. But, from what that first round looked like, Ginyu's looking to be pretty darn strong. And they're really going to have to do something, get the coordination going or, what have you to give themselves a fighting chance here. But, it's pretty tough when you have Banny putting out the kind of numbers that he's thrown onto the table. I mean, both teams actually had the same amount of Ubers in that game, I believe, but it was just
almost every Uber went in Ginyu's favor, even when Evil was doing well.
Yeah.
A few simple things that Evil can do. Really, I don't think that they can improve their coordination right now. But a few simple things they could do is try a different push every single time. And really try and keep Sky alive, because she went down. There were a number of times when they could have had a bit of an advantage and done a repush, and then Sky went down after the push, and then everybody just sits around and waits for her to get an Uber again, and you need to keep her alive. So
I saw one time in particular, it was, and it may have been partly her as well. I mean, she seemed to, they were kind of pushing in towards last, and it was, they knew that they had the advantage, and they were just getting, very aggressive. They had some number advantage as well, and they were still trying to continue a dry push going. But with them getting so aggressive at the time, it just kind of exposed her a lot, it seemed, and then that just allowed for them to get her. I mean, she was wide out in the open, and they took her down. And I could be wrong, but it seemed as if if they would have kind of just hung out for a couple minutes. I mean, they were very close to Uber anyway. If they would have just hung out for a few more seconds in a safer area, got the Uber, they would have had full advantage pushing straight through. They could have popped it and just mowed through them. So, I guess the little things like that is definitely, well, maybe not so little things, but something that they're going to have to keep track of moving forward in the game here. But I believe a player is just waiting on Overseer actually to go ahead and join back in over on Ginyu, and we will be hopefully starting this second round here pretty soon. But yeah, so far, I mean, they're on the ropes here. Evil is, so we'll have to see.
I will say some of that is Sky is much less experienced as a medic, probably the least experienced player in the game right now in this game. Not in the entire game, of course. So I think some of that's showing through. She's popping early. She's slightly out of position. I think maybe the way that Evil is playing is sort of adapting to that. Like, they're not willing to try and protect her.
Is Sky a new addition, a new change up for them, or is it just they've been working with her all season?
The whole season. I don't know that she played I don't know what she played for last season. Who she played for, but she's been starting medic for Evil this whole season. I think this is her first plat team starting on. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so.
It's a whole different ball game up at that level, so we'll have to see if she can get her sea legs here in this game at least. But of course, the other team or the rest of her team, I should say, also needs to do a better job at protecting her, because she did die, as we were mentioning before, she did die a good bit there on that first round, especially compared to Overseer. Overseer only died once during that whole first round there. Yeah, and Sky went down 9 times. So, if that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of how that was going the whole game. So it's something they really do need to keep tabs on, is keeping Sky alive.
Yeah, Overseer, my teammate, she has a flaw. It's that she's actually a bit too defensive and a bit too scared of being forward. So, but she's definitely not. I mean, like in this situation, like one day, like she's not gonna die. Like I don't even think it's worth trying to bomb her. Really, just focus on keeping your own med alive. Try and do repushes for Evil is what I would say. Try and keep your med alive and do a repush, because there are several times where if you just kept a little bit of positioning and kept your med alive, you could have repushed.
That's they're gonna have to get something going, because the first round was not looking too hot, but definitely not over at this point. We're still waiting on one more player, I believe, over
someone disconnected.
I think it was actually, I think he timed out, I saw at one point, so we're kind of just waiting for him to get back in. Hopefully it's not going to be a lasting issue with timing out. Hopefully not getting DDoSed or anything like that.
Everybody's connection seemed to be fine, even his, so I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal. Let's see, though. Oh, I'm not friends with Fane. I can't check. But it probably won't be too long.
Yeah, it's just a couple more minutes here, guys. We'll have the show back on the road. But for those of you that are just kind of tuning in here, missed a lot of the beginning stream action and the first round, of course. Ginyu just absolutely mowing through Evil on the first round there. Evil not even able to get through to cap the last point. Ginyu putting up a very strong defense on them there. And in case you missed the very, very beginning of the stream, you missed the announcement, the cool little video, which gave me chills.
We'll actually show that video again at the end of the stream.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We are showing it at the end again.
So maybe don't for anybody who both missed the video and is somehow not reading chat talking about it.
Yeah, if you're not reading chat for some reason.
Because there's an extra video at the end.
Yeah, a fun little one. It's really good. So definitely, that's gonna be one of the highlights along with this game. The whole match in general is gonna be that video. So do not miss it. If you missed it at the beginning, you must watch it at the end. I'm telling you, you have to watch it. You really don't have an option.
Yeah, you don't. If you miss it, I'm not gonna cast anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
me
just
too.
gonna
I'll be done.
not.
I'll be done. If I hear about any of you missing it that missed it before that have been sitting here, yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna, put in my letter of resignation. I don't think we have to do that anyway. But I don't. Maybe honorably go out. I don't know. Well, anyway, we're gonna be moving in here into our second round. This time we are going to have, once again, Ginyu here is going to be starting off on offense, and we'll be having, of course, sorry, I'm sitting here laughing at the NG talking over on Evil, but Evil's going to be on defense this time around, starting things off. So we'll see if Ginyu gets through and just, frankly, demolishes them as they did their last round, or if they can put up some better defenses here. But it seemed as though and I kind of missed when it happened, but their cliff defense, I literally looked down into tunnel last game, and then I came back up on top, and like everybody was gone on cliff.
It was actually a really organized fallback. For what it's worth, that was a very solid fallback. The NG did a Wrangler jump out, and everybody followed with him and weren't too clumped together. It was actually a really good fallback. It's just too bad that they had to fall back.
We'll see if they can hold it a little longer this time as we're getting things going. Immediately we see soldiers getting up top. He's gonna go down. Stabby! Oh, he got on the soldier there for a sec. Luckily for him, turned around right at the last second to save his own life. So. Sentry still looking nice, strong, and healthy here, standing up on the cliff. Cart's already getting its way in through tunnel. Is this a typical thing that Cart normally gets all the way through before a lot of the action happens?
Because on a lot of payload maps, it depends on the map, but there's sort of an element of, unlike a capture point where you're always fighting over the point, there are areas of the payload track where it's pretty much free. And you don't really, if the defensive team actually contests that, like if defense actually went into tunnel to fight, that would be really bad for them, because that's not a good place for them to be defensive from. So you sort of let it go that way, and that's why usually you see people jump up, because during the time the cart's being pushed, you might as well do something with the other classes.
We see the Uber's been popped off here. They popped it off onto Banny. They tried to get the sentry. The counter pop came out as well, but looks like he did that Wrangler jump once again. Got himself out of there. The organized fallback. I was able to notice it this time. So they got themselves out here. Looks like they're going to go ahead. They got the sentry out. They're going to go ahead and set up on cliff as they just kind of give up this first point here. Set up on roof here. Kind of get things going. We're going to have even Ubers as well, assuming no big pick comes out from anybody. So we'll see if last time Ginyu came around on the backside and was able to just mow through them on it. Oh, wow. Banny just flying through across, able to get the sentry. Takes that down pretty easily as he was coming through. Some coordinated damage there for Ginyu, and that's going to be a lot of the roof defense, it seems, has been just demolished.
In the back staircase, I think you missed it, but Banny and Moof, the sniper, had a little fight, a melee fight, and Banny, they both sort of run forward and hit each other, and they're both within one melee kill, and they both back up, and Banny just looks at a sticky he has on the ground and
Oh man, I always miss the good stuff. They got right on through there on the second.
They've already got third. This is...
Yeah, they've got themselves all the way up there. Heavy's going to go down. They had Soldier Bomb in 3. He was able to get him, and they've got a strong presence on it. They're just pretty much going to have to concede the third point now and start setting up on last. Overseer's got a full Uber advantage as well, so they're going to have to be careful here. Sky cannot go down in this situation, or it is going to be pretty much lights out for it. For this last point. All they have really is to set up on last here and have a good defense if they... want to make them have a decent time here. So
they've got their slightly atypical defense where they put the sentry on the ramp. I'm not a huge fan of this, but actually in this situation, doing anything atypical is a good way to try and recoup this, because you have to try and surprise somebody when they're beating you this bad.
Yeah, I mean, whatever they were doing obviously wasn't working before. Looks like, oh goodness, Sky went down. I'm not sure if that was a drop. Somebody got in on him. Yes, that was a drop.
It was a drop.
That
it was the sniper.
Oh, Sniper got the drop. That is very...
Oh, my bad. There was a spy with a headshot. I just saw the headshot icon.
Oh, man, that is not going to be looking good for them.
Ooh,
Two up. Everybody's on the cart. They're just going to sit here, wait at the spawn. Soldiers waiting there, just denying them any entrance.
Trap.
Yeah,
They've got one exit. This is brutal. This is going to be a under 4-minute cap, unless something amazing happens.
Now, is that pretty much as fast as you get for badwater? I mean, what's generally
it's practically as fast as you can. I think the actual fastest is about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And I think this will be a little bit above that.
Yeah, assuming the other team has some sort of a defense, which, I mean, Evil did have some defense there, but it was not really all that much. I mean, enough to hold them for a little bit, but once again, their Ginyu just, rolled through on the offense, and Sky went down in some pretty bad situations that you really just you can't have it happen. It seems like Overseer is like never dying, and that's
I mean, they can't even
great.
get to her. She's cautious at the best of times, and in here where they're just being out-fragged and out-coordinated, you can't even... Overseer, I don't think, is even seeing the enemy team very much. You just can't get close to her.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's looking pretty darn bleak for Evil at this point. They're gonna have to have the greatest push in Highlander history right here to get through and beat that time, but maybe not impossible, but if I had to give you the over-under on it, it probably wouldn't be the best, but we'll see. The round's about to start here. Of course, we have switched sides up, so we'll see if they have anything left in the tank to throw at Ginyu at this point, who has just been rolling through him all evening. Harblue's going to come flying through right away, but only to be massacred by the team waiting for him on cliff. So, trying to get some sort of a push here going.
They literally cannot stop having ×3 on that cart. Almost literally. Or they just won't have enough time.
Yeah, it's got to be an extremely quick cap here, and right away. I mean, both teams still have the full Uber here. They're really gonna have to do something magical with it if they get them popped off.
They're doing this lower push again, which I like, but it's a surprise push, and it works as a surprise. But now Ginyu knows their heavy drop down and saw. They're gonna get spammed from every angle. They're gonna be forced to pop.
Yeah, and it's going to be a way better Uber for them, which now they're just going to go ahead and pop it off. Ginyu does way better Uber in this situation. They're going to be able to get a lot of frags here. Looks like two down on each side, actually. Now it's going to be 3 down for Evil. Oh, Stabby getting in on Harblu as well, and I think the fat lady is starting to warm up her voice, as they would say. She's getting ready.
She's got her makeup on. The stage manager is saying she's on in 3.
Yep.
It's not pretty. I'm gonna talk. I like Skag here running the level. It's a level 2, I guess, but running the full sentries is sort of a sort of why not try it last ditch attempt. I love aggressive level 3s whenever they're possible. So I do like that.
Is that something that, I mean, of course that's probably a very a very non-typical thing to see is aggressive, aggressive level 3s and whatnot. But I mean,
pretty much only on the map CP Steel. Otherwise, you basically don't see it unless someone's loadout gets stuck, because it's just a lot harder, and the rewards you get are slim. But it looks like I think that they just need to go for as much as they can get at this point. I think that they can get first. I hope that they can get second.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they're finally now kind of capping. Actually, nobody's really on the card. They're just kind of keeping the pressure up, it looks like, but they're going to be waiting right around the corner here. The Uber's going to get popped off, and they're just going to, that's just going to be mowing through them once again there as they came around the corner with it, pushing them back even further. They do have one more guy in the car. That was a soldier. He's going to get pieced out of this world. So now finally, actually, we have Hardblue who's getting a good bit of damage out. They have a spot. Stab, he's getting in there on the cart, but easily able to take care of that. Only 60 seconds left here. That is pretty much going to do it for this one. Ginyu just came out. I mean, very, very strong. I mean, I didn't see the match on Process when they played earlier this season, but you know, that score line versus this one are along very, very similar lines there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, well, actually, Hardblue was trying to kill Overseer at least, and they sort of did a little dance around the poles, and I think Patty came in and saved her.
No, like, please, just let us get Overseer once in this game,
just
please,
once.
just one time, just to make it look at least a little better, maybe. We got kicked out of STV already.
Kicked out of STV. That was, well, I don't think we missed anything too surprising, unfortunately.
Yeah, just a little bit too strong there for Ginyu. I mean, they had some all around some really incredible players. I mean, very strong team, and not that Evil didn't have strong players by any means. It's just we were kind of talking about a little before after the first round that Ginyu was just so much more coordinated in their game, and for somebody that's a newbie to Highlander like me, even I could see how much more coordinated. You know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see them just able to get through. I mean, they were firing on all cylinders, just able to get through every defense that Evil had. And I mean, the score definitely showed it, especially in that second round.
Yeah, just it helps that they have more coordination, and they just. But what also, I mean, they had a few players that were just playing stronger than their counterpoints, and that helps the coordination look even better.
Yeah.
They just are very dominating. Other than maybe the first half around was actually pretty solid for Evil, and then I think that Ginyu just sort of kicked it up and was like, okay, we know how to deal with this now, and they might have adapted a little bit. Or they might have just woken up a little bit, and then from that point, Ginyu did more and more dominating until by the last half round, Evil was like, we almost literally can't win. So
yeah,
a lot of the fight went out of them at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to keep hope alive when you know it's just that much of a massacre. I mean, speaking to the players playing out of their minds over there on Ginyu, first round we had Banny putting up around 500 some, possibly I think possibly 600 at one point or so DPM. Second round here, he was getting out 477 on that. So, you know, just putting out some good numbers, getting a lot of picks there. I mean, it was just, you know, I mean, it's kind of hard to find a lot to say about this other than just Ginyu was just way too strong for Evil tonight. Yeah,
I mean, I think they were the stronger team to begin with, and I think they were more ready tonight than Evil was. They just did a really solid job. I will say that Evil did do some things I like, and I think they were stronger tonight than they were on Monday. But it just wasn't enough. There's a reason Ginyu is going to the finals there. I mean, they're a very strong team, and they've got great players, and they all work well together.
So that's going to be it. Ginyu moving on to the Platinum Grand Finals, which I believe will be happening next week. They're going to be playing the Kids Next Door who they actually had lost to on Badwater
And a surprise
last
upset.
week.
That could be a very good game, and I think a lot of it comes down to what maps are being chosen, which I'm actually not sure what maps are happening. I think it's still each team gets to choose one, but I could be wrong.
I feel like when I was looking at the brackets, I saw some, but I could be wrong on that. I'm going to try looking it up real quick, but either way, I mean, you know, the way Ginyu is playing tonight, I feel, you know, I haven't seen Kids Next Door, but I feel like if they're playing like they were tonight, you know, I think they should be looking pretty good, I feel like.
Kids Next Door definitely has their work cut out for them, but I think they could do it. I'm putting it out there. They already did it on Viaduct, so we could see them do it. If you can do it on, if you can beat a team on Viaduct, I think you could theoretically beat them anywhere, because it's very much a straightforward strategy, straightforward on DM map. So it's not like you gimmicked them out or anything.
Well, I guess we'll have to see what happens as it comes. And I just did look it up. It looks like it is going to be the picks, and then if they need it, Viaduct is the tiebreaker map next week, which is awesome. I am a huge fan of Viaduct in sixes and in Highlander.
And the fact that they already lost to them on Viaduct last week sort of adds a bit of drama to the mix.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet to see. So, you know, we'll bring that one to you guys. I believe next week. Yeah, that'll be happening next week. Your finals are set. Kids Next Door facing off against Ginyu Force. We'll see if Ginyu can kind of redeem themselves going into the finals. But, you know, any closing comments for you here tonight, Frank? I mean, that's just going to about do it for us.
I think the only real comment I have is probably is really just the video that's about to play. I can't say anything better than that. Rise.
Yeah, guys, we're going to be having an awesome video. We were kind of talking about it before, but if you haven't seen this already at the beginning of the stream, even if you did see it at the beginning of the stream, we know that you're going to watch it again because it was awesome. So to play us out here, Dashner, go ahead and throw us that awesome video again. Thanks for tuning in with us this evening, guys. I'm Gecks. And, of course, alongside me, I had Frank West. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you guys next week for the Platinum Grand Finals. We'll see you guys then. Have a good night.